Right, yeah, Young Woman in the Sea is a film that is now out on Disney Plus. It's one of their new releases, and it is a based on a true story, which is some you approach those with a little bit of trepidation, I think,
Yes.
because I think, oh, how true is it really? But I think this one, it's broadly, I think, only slightly fictionalized account of the first woman to swim the English Channel. And this lady is a an American lady. She was from New York. She is the daughter of German immigrants, growing up in sort of early part of the 20th century in New York,
Hmm.
and got measles, almost died as a very young child, and was part of her rehabilitation. And at the time of um, her youth, they were reading about there's a steamboat tragedy in the Hudson near New York, where 900 women and children sort of basically got killed in on this boat. And one of the reasons why was they're very close to the shore, but they ended up going down with the ship because none of them could swim. And so her mother was determined that her daughters would learn how to swim. And so, because she'd had measles, there are rules about that children with who had had measles weren't allowed to go into the water because there's a danger of them going deaf.
Hmm.
So she was not allowed to learn how to swim in a pool in the public baths. So she basically learned how to swim in the sea with her dad tying a rope around her waist and letting her swim. And so she became passionate about sort of basically open water swimming, as we call it now. And so um, her life as she grew up was, involved in swimming. She became a world record holder and an Olympian. But her one challenge that she would see was what was holding back women's sports was basically a woman doing some sort of feat. And it was always said that it would be impossible for a woman to swim in the English Channel. Their bodies wouldn't stand it because of the cold. They
They're
couldn't,
way too delicate.
they're too delicate to withstand the
Yeah.
cold, the actual endurance of it, because it would be swimming for almost a day's worth of swimming for 10 hours plus swimming because of the tides and the way it works. I mean, it may be 12 miles, but you actually end up swimming closer to 30 or 40 when you actually swim the channel, because you are swimming against the tides as you go. And
Yeah.
they were saying it's just impossible. No woman could possibly do this. And so she saw that as basically a personal challenge. That's one of the motivations in the film. Whether that is true in real life, I don't know. But one of the motivations in the film was, yes, I am going to do this thing that no other woman has ever done. And only at this point in 1926, I think only five men had actually swum the channel. In like the 40 years when they've been since the
Wow.
first successful swimming of the channel with Captain Webb. I think they're literally only like it only happened once every sort of 5 or 6 years that someone successfully managed to swim the channel, which now isn't that big a deal. So I don't understand. Well, it is a big deal, but I mean, it happens quite frequently, doesn't it? People
Yeah.
do swim the channel. So I think in those days
I know
they would
two people
swim.
who've done it.
Mhm.
Yeah,
And they're not athletes.
no.
They're not like high end athletes. Yeah.
I think in those days they would swim from France to Britain. I think now most people set off from Britain and swim to France. I think because
Yeah.
of the tides and the way it works, it you're not swimming against the tide so much, and you can do it. It's a bit sort of not more easier, but it's more manageable. But anyway, so this film is how the build up to her attempting to swim the English Channel. And because she was the first woman to swim the English Channel, there's no spoilers to say that she does actually manage to do it. But how she gets there, it's the journey, as we see on these things.
Yes.
But no, I thought, and she did that in 1926. And when she returned home by ship to New York, and the ticker tape parade was attended by 2 million people,
Wow.
Wow.
um, to greet her when she came back. And she's a person that I don't think, if I said Trudy Erdeler, I don't think anyone would have heard of her now, would they?
No,
Oh, only because
probably
of this
not.
film.
I had, yeah, we do now. But I
Only
had to
because of
look
this
up her
film.
name because I'm thinking, and I'm not sure if I've even pronounced it correctly, but I think it is Trudy Erdeler or Adele, yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
Because I couldn't quite pick it up on the film what they were saying. But yeah, so no, it was a very interesting film, true story, probably slightly tweaked with the facts to make it a bit more cinematic. But on the whole, yeah, a remarkable feat from this lady who lived to be 98, and
Mm.
was quite a remarkable lady in her own right.
Yeah.
Did go deaf as a result of swimming, in cold water, having suffered measles as a child, and I believe that is one of the consequences. And she did teach deaf children to swim when she stopped her professional career. So I liked it. I thought it was a good film. Daisy Ridley she's sort of charming, isn't she? Anyway, I think so. I think she played her with charm and understanding. I liked the supporting characters. Stephen Graham, he pops up. He's always a bit of a card in these films, and I think he does that. He plays that character card well.
Yeah.
And Christopher Eccleston plays a old Scottish grump, and I think he sort of suits that role as well. So all the supporting cast did their thing, and I enjoyed it. So I'd give that a 4 stars.
4 stars. You know, I was shocked when you said Daisy Ridley, and the second I saw Daisy Ridley, I just immediately assumed she was playing some, like, slightly upper class English person. I didn't realize she was American in this. I'm like, oh, Daisy Ridley with an
German
accent.
descent. Yeah, both her parents were German born, so yes, she was like first generation American.
How did the accent sound?
To me, she sounded American when she was speaking.
Cool. Good stuff. Well done, Daisy Ridley, best actress in the world. So, I do really want to see her do more, because I feel like because of the Star Wars stuff and the Star Wars movies that she was associated with, which unfortunately, in my opinion, weren't the best. It's kind of like one of those things where in your head that's just who she is, and
shake that off. I think she's managed to do that. Definitely here, she has shaken that off.
All right, cool.
But when I saw her, I was thinking, she has done other stuff apart from Star Wars. But yes, it's good to see her sort of moving on with other things. So I thought it's good.